Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
The Hobbit the Card game. Now, this is an interesting little title. This came out when the movie came out, but it doesn't use movie images. It's like either unique art, or maybe it's attached to some book of the Hobbit that I'm unaware of. It's a trick-taking game, which I'm not a huge fan of. I never grew up playing card games very much. I didn't play a whole lot of board games as a kid. My family didn't play board games. You know, obviously I had some. But I wouldn't say it's a huge part. Now, everybody had Monopoly and Sorry and some of those, but my family never played board games together, and my family definitely didn't play card games like Rummy or Trick-Taking or Bridge or Cribbage or anything like that. What you're going to get here is you're going to get pretty vanilla trick-taking game, at least in my limited experience. But each player plays a character from the book, and each person, when they win a trick, has a unique power, and you have a couple of bad guys playing against a couple good guys, and you're playing together as teams. I don't know enough about trick-taking games to know if that's unique or not, but that's what it is. It seems very simplistic to me. It seems like there's luck involved and what cards are dealt, and I guess there's some maneuvering to how you play those, no more or less than any other trick-taking game, I suppose. But there it is. I think it's pasted on. The theme is quite frankly pasted on here. It's okay. I'm going to tell you to go ahead and purge this one and pass on it. If you're a big trick-taking fan and you like The Hobbit, well, this is a perfect match for you. But for everybody else, with my limited knowledge about trick-taking games, I would probably gain there's something better. Now, I don't know that a lot of them play teams like this, and that's pretty neat. You can play up to 5, 3-on-2, or 2-on-2, or whatever you want to do. So it is neat in that respect, and I think that might bring some people in. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty vanilla, pretty vanilla trick-taking game. So The Hobbit's going to be a miss for me. I'm going to purge this one. For the Hobbit the Card game, you do get a very attractive looking box. This came out about the time the movie came out, but they decided to go with, I guess, either a unique artist or one based more on the books than the movie. So if people were expecting to get something based on the movie, they were probably a little bit surprised. It does have a peculiar name on it, which is Martin Wallace. Not one you would expect from him, but you do get kind of a cheap paper here. And you're going to get some cards. The cards are okay. Everything about this game just seems like it was made to cheaply make something. But I think for what you'll play, you'll get your use out of it. You're going to get 5 characters. You're going to get Smaug, Bold, Bilbo, Gandalf, and Thorin. And each one's going to have a different power at the bottom. You will also get a number of cards with locations. But really what's important are these icons, the colors, and the numbers. Everything else is pretty useless. The cards are okay. They're a little thinner than maybe you want. I think it'll work well for the type of game this is and the shuffling that it's going to do. I think that it's fine. You can see they shuffle pretty well. You're not going to go crazy about it. The artwork, if you like this sort of thing, I think it's really, really good. But it almost seems like something from the 1980s to me. And I don't mean to say anything bad. It just seems that way. That's not a knock, although it may seem. I really like this one. This guy. That looks really neat. They're very beautiful. It just reminds me of the 80s, and that's not a knock on it. It's just what they do. The style. That's saying the style of something isn't necessarily bad. I don't mean it in a negative way, but it does remind me of something like that. So that's the components. They're pretty good. The box is really, really small. Travel friendly. The Hobbit, the rules, super simple, especially if you ever played trick-taking game. Now, I haven't played a lot of trick-taking games, so I read the rules of this and I was able to play it with no problem. Other than the regular trick-taking things is the individual powers. There's only 5 of them. There's, blah, blah, blah. It seems pretty easy what you were doing. There's 3 different powers in the game that you want to score, not really score, but utilize to get the wounds. It seems very basic to me. So the rules were very clear, had no problems. If I was going to say something, I would say they're excellent. I didn't have any problems. The way the game plays is you're going to play teams, basically. You're going to be playing bad guys versus good guys. And there'll be a number of characters based on the number of players. And I'll go through each one of these. So with Smaug, when you win a trick, you may assign cards to some or all players, including yourself, but only 1 to each player. With Bolg, when you win a trick, assign 1 card to a character of your choice, discard the remaining. When you win a trick, assign 1 card to yourself and 1 card to another player. Gandalf, when you win a trick, you may assign cards to some or all players, including yourself, but only 1 card to each. And then with Thorin, whenever you win a trick, randomly assign 1 card to each player. That is probably the least helpful in having a fun experience. So let's say you had a number of these. I mean, the game is really easy. It's a trick-taking game. So each of you guys will start with a number of cards. Let's say Gandalf goes first, and he starts out with yellow. So he played a yellow 11. Now, the next guy, Bilbo, has to play yellow unless he doesn't have one. So let's say he's on the same team, so he might just want to throw away a card because he's fine with his teammate winning. So he plays a 1. Well, Bolg, he has to play yellow if he hasn't. If he doesn't, he has to, he can play a trump, which is purple. Purple always beats all yellow, or beats whatever card you're playing, what color you're playing. Purple beats all, but you can only play it if you don't have that color, even though the number is smaller. So a purple 4 would beat a 11 yellow. So then he would take all of these because he won the trick and then activate his power. When you win a trick, assign 1 card to a character of your choice. So let's talk about your decisions here. So you have a few different kinds of cards. You have this card with this, and this symbol means it's heals a good guy, hurts a bad guy. So you won't want to assign it to himself or his partner, or really them, because that's just going to help them. Then you also have this symbol. It's the opposite. It helps a bad guy, hurts a good guy. So if he would have had this card, he might want to slip it underneath somebody. Because if you get, at the end of the round, if you have 2 wounds, you die. The last one is the pipe. This is more neutral. Each card with a brown pipe entitles the player to assign 1 extra card in round 2. So if everybody's not dead or one team hasn't dominated, then there'll be a round 2. And this one will give you extra cards. So you want to put this on you or a teammate. That's the entire game. So each of the players will do something different if they win a trick. Otherwise, it's just a basic trick-taking game. Try this game. Fans of The Hobbit, who like trick-taking games, who like The Hobbit, who like trick-taking games. That's pretty much it. If you like trick-taking games, you may want to buy this. If you're a Hobbit fan, you're only going to want this if you like the trick-taking games. Does that make sense? So all people like trick-taking games who want one that's light, and then Hobbit fans who happen to like trick-taking games. That's pretty much the market here. Maybe somebody wanted to wet their foot into trick-taking games. This is a very simplistic one. Diamonds might be better, but this is very, very simplistic. Or I don't think a lot of them are team-based. So maybe if you want a team-based one where there's this team versus that team, perhaps that's one way you'd want to go. But that's The Hobbit. I'm going to Purge it. Too simplistic for me, and I'm not really a big card player and don't like trick-taking games all that much, or if at all. So I am not the target market for this.